guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Project Pineapple P. Pineapple because I always wear one. So today I get started on my TV unit and doing it up. So I've currently got a TV unit that definitely needs some work. It's getting a bit natty-tatty. So I think it's definitely time to upcycle this and give it a new, fresh piece of life. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off all the pieces that need to come off and then we'll get going. So step one, taking off all the things that need to be taken off that I don't need to paint. So like the pulley drawer out, I don't need to paint that. I'd like to keep it the same colour it actually is. Next step, step two, I'm going to sand it a little bit before I put the sugar soap on. It's a little bit more damaged than I had thought, and it's got a little bit more dents and things in. So yeah, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to sand it first before I then go on to the next steps. What we're looking to do now is step two. Step two is sugar soap. You're going to put this on, or you can literally use washing up liquid and water, things like that, just to make sure that it's all clean, because furniture does get dirty over time. No matter how much you try and clean everything, it will get dirty. If you don't use something like a sugar paste before you put the primer and undercoat on, it's more than likely not going to let the paint stick, because it's going to be full of oils from us all touching them to things just in the air, even at home. But while it's drying, I'm going to start adding the parts that I want to stay the natural wood. I really like that. I don't really like colouring everything in the same colour, but that's absolutely fine if you do. We're all different, and I'm quite plain really, because I like the top to just be pine, natural, and then I like to colour it either in grey or cream. Let's do that. Again, wish me luck with the masking tape. It's such a steady job. Like, it's taken so long, so much practice to get better at putting masking tape on. Right, so step three, knotting solution. Let's put the knotting solution on. We're basically going to put it on all the knots. Old brush. So nice and simple knotting solution. You need to wait for it to dry. It will take a few hours, and then we'll come back and we will start doing the primer. It's been a few hours and everything is dry, and the knotting solution is ready to have the paint put on. So the next thing I'm going to do is just make sure that the knotting solution is all nice and smooth before I put my primer on. So it's time now to put the primer and undercoat on. So I finished the TV unit for the night. I'm going to allow it to dry overnight, so in the morning it's ready to be sanded, and then I can apply my first house white Farrow. So just before I paint it, I'm just going to do the top of the TV unit, just so I know it's not going to get really dirty once I've actually painted it in the Farrow, because that's just going to be a bit of a nightmare to have happen. I'm pretty happy with the top sanded down, and I'm pretty happy that it's all ready to go ahead and paint. So what I'm going to do is use my P120 and just sand down a little bit to make sure that I'm all smooth with the primer and the undercoat. I've got Farrow House White, which I'm going to be using. It's the same as all in my living room. I've got it in a bucket just so that I keep it down to a minimum instead of keeping it in the pot and then maybe just putting things back in that I probably shouldn't be, like parts of the sanding or things like that. It doesn't actually look very thick, and you can still see the primer, so let me show you. So you can see the primer and undercoat are coming through still on the paint, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not concerned about that at all. It's my first coat, it's on nice and thin. I reckon it's going to need 3 coats and then it will be done. So right now I'm going to go in, I'm going to get a nice cup of tea. I'm probably going to leave it roughly 8 hours, maybe more, so I'll come back maybe this evening. If I still feel it's quite damp and wet, then I'm not going to even attempt it, because there's no point, because once I start putting it on, if it's still wet, it's going to take the bottom layers of the paint off. So it's better to wait and have it so it's spot on and really, really, really good, instead of a botched job that's actually going to need to be redone and I'm not going to be happy with. So let's go and grab a cup of tea and then we'll check on it in a few hours time. Good morning, everything is nice and dry, so I'm ready to do my second coat. Obviously I'm going to take off the tape at the top and then I'm going to re-put it on, just so I make sure that the lines are straight where the wood and the paint lie. Also, I'm going to use my P120 sandpaper on the top of the wood, just so it's all ready to put on teak oil after I finish painting the second coat of paint. Second coat is done. It's definitely going to need a third coat just to make sure that I've got every little bit done. I've taken off the tape just so that it doesn't stick when I try and pull it off along the wood and the paint. So now I'm going to teak oil and beeswax the top. This is what it looks like here when the teak oil's on. And then this is the natural grain. I hope you liked my TV unit. If you want to stay tuned and see what other things I upcycle, subscribe to my channel and like if you like it and leave a comment.